how a woman changes. You
Mm.
know, women always say, "Oh, well, you know what? He let himself go." Wait a minute. You also let yourself go. Like, whole time we were dating, I never saw this bonnet that you wore to bed.
Ooh.
Where did this come from? No, where did this robe come from that looked like it was handed down from generation to generation? You know, you don't want me coming to bed in a t-shirt with syrup stains on it. I don't want you coming to bed with this moo on as well. Like, we're supposed to still be attractive to each other.
Let's talk about, because like I was saying before, the whole modern day, it seems that I've heard different guys, and you listen to these podcasts and things about, a lot of scorned men that really see marriage as a risk, high risk, right? You could get divorced, she's gonna take the kids, you're gonna see your kids, you have to pay child support, alimony, she's gonna put you through the ringer, right? And it's like, why would I do that? Like we said earlier, it's not like before where I needed you to cook, I needed you to clean. Like I could have all that stuff done. So the modern day guy, like, what do they see as the benefits of marriage? Now, don't be quiet for too long, guys, because then
Are you gonna ask? Did you ask already the concerns, or are we just doing benefits now?
No, we're gonna talk about both, but I wanted to do the benefits first because I didn't want y'all to get too down in the negative that y'all couldn't even think of the positive after.
No, I mean,
so that's
obviously,
why I started with the benefits.
oh well, obviously there's a lot of benefits. I mean, even if you do a Google search and you try to figure out what are the benefits of marriage, you will see that there's a whole lot. Number one, marriage men, they live longer. I guess, yeah, they do less stupid stuff, and number two, they're able to focus a lot better. So marriage men usually are more successful. They're not trying to focus on dating all this. Women, you get to save more money. You're not going out on dates. You're not, you have a base, a good base at home. Also, you have a helper, someone to help you. I think that men and women, they are better together than separate. I think women bring that balance that we don't have as men. They bring so much to the relationship that men just simply don't have. Like, for instance, I had a friend and he gave me a gift and he's like, listen, I would have never thought to give you this. And I'm like, I bet it was your girlfriend who told you to give it to me. And he laughed. He was like, yeah, that's what like, they bring things to us that we would never think about. They bring that balance. If you want to have kids, if you want to leave a legacy here on earth, I think that marriage is the best vehicle in which to have kids, because those kids, the research have been done that those kids they do way better in life when you have that base of the mom and dad in the home and they're married. Those kids will do better in life. So your legacy, you will have a better legacy that you leave for your children and on the earth. What else?
Well, okay. Y'all gonna have to.
I have lots and lots, but I'll leave it there.
Wow, y'all gonna have to save this episode. This is the first episode that Thaddeus is saying that women are benefit to a man. Wow.
I've never not saying that they are not.
This is like our 71st episode. I just want to let you know. So out of 71 videos, this is the first.
That's not true. I
have
not
Thaddeus says
said,
we're worth something to you.
Of course, women are a tremendous help to men. What are you talking about? I just don't like when women don't know what their true gift is. For instance, like, women are always like, well, they're trying to bring to the table the same thing that I bring. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I make enough money. Why are you trying to bring me money? I don't want to hear that. Oh, well, I'm educated. Okay, great. What's that going to do for me? And what's that going to do for our kids? You're bringing things that I don't need. And that's the downfall of a lot of modern women. But if women would just go back to their, like, I won't say initial role. I don't want to say like, well, you're beneath me or anything, but just bring the things that I can't do for myself. Like, bring that soft feminine side, bring that compassion, all the things that I'm not, bring that.
Ooh, okay, guys, other guys on the line, tell me, what are the benefits?
Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So for me, Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So for me, what a wife can provide for me that I may not necessarily be able to provide for myself all the time in most situations or a lot of situations is a different level of discernment to keep me from being tunnel vision on a particular topic or a particular person or things of that nature. Like women have I think they have a stronger spirit of discernment than men do because of the responsibility that men have. I also think a woman can make a house a home a lot better than I can by myself. Like you walk into my house, you're gonna know, what, this is all you at all. And like and women have a knack for knowing, like if I had a female friend that helped me decorate, a woman would know, unless there's just a guy who's just this awesome interior decorator. Most of the time, you would come in and you'd be like, okay, this looks like a female has been here. How you all know that, have no idea. But it's just something that y'all pick up on. I don't know if it's a scent that y'all pick up on that we don't have access to or what. Like there's like Thaddeus said, I don't necessarily need you to match me financially. I don't need that. Like that's if I sat down and had this conversation, that what do you bring to the table conversation, I'm not looking for you to say if I make six figures, you make six. I don't care about that. That's not on my checklist of what I want in a person. Like now, I don't want them to be broke either, but we don't have to match the same financially unless there's, I guess, something that we're trying to obtain where that enormous amount of money would be needed. For me, it's like I said, coming home to a home and not coming home to a house. Like, there's a inordinate amount of love that vibrates from a home when you're in a loving, healthy relationship. I'm not talking about a marriage where you're sitting in the driveway, thinking about, do I really want to go here? Or do I want to go and get a 4 for $4? Do I want to do anything but come in the house? I think that it makes a man healthier. It gives him a reason to come home. Like after I get off work, I look forward to coming home to my wife or my kids or things of that nature. Like you have somebody that you can have those quote unquote pillow talks with and bounce ideas and feelings off of and have a level of vulnerability with this woman that you can't necessarily have with your male friends. Because even though your male friends might be like, you know what, we're boys, I'll always be there for you, there are just certain things that you can't share with them because they might raise an eyebrow, whereas the woman that you're with is going to show a genuine level of care and concern.
Ooh, man. Ooh, I just love to see these mature men on the line. I love it. Thank y'all so much. Charlie, did you have anything you wanted to add about, how women could benefit, a wife could be a benefit to your life? Did you have anything that you wanted to say or
I agree with both gentlemen. Just as far as having something to bring to the table, I don't necessarily need you to match me. I don't need you to. So I'm educated. I, ain't making six figures, but I do okay. Just the same thing. You just want someone that's feminine, someone that's compassionate, that's kind. I'm like, Fred Flintstone he needed Wilma. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. Somebody that's gonna be like nurturing and everything like that. So it's not really too much more that I can add to what the gentleman already said. So I totally agree with them.
Oh, love it. Very good conversation. So ladies, yeah, take notes and listen. So let's go to the other side now, okay? Which the side Thaddeus was waiting for. What are the concerns that the modern day men may have about getting married nowadays?
My concern, which I was gonna say it, but I'm glad that you asked. My concern would be meeting somebody who's just like me. And the reason why I say that is, if I meet somebody that's just like me, then there's no balance. If we're both strong in the same areas, then there's a good chance we're both going to be weak in the same area. And if we're both weak in the same area, then how do we handle that when you're looking at me and I'm looking at you, and neither one of us can come up with a resolution? Another fear of mine is somebody who's not ready to be married. Like they say they're ready to be married, but they're not ready to be a wife, which I think is a big difference. There are a lot of people that are married, but they aren't necessarily wives because they still operate as girlfriends and operate single and things of that nature, and don't necessarily understand the responsibility that comes with, all right, you know what, now I can't do the same thing that my single female friends do. Like, I have a responsibility to take care of a home, to take care of a husband, to take care of a family. And for some women, they kind of struggle with that because they feel like once they get married, there's a level of freedom that they necessarily lose, not realizing that you're still an individual. You're just an individual that's now taken on an added responsibility that your friends may not have gotten to a place in their life that they're ready to take on that same responsibility.
Oh, preach. That's awesome, because you guys didn't bring that to my mind about, are women prepared to be wives? As we were talking about how men learn to be husbands, are women learning to be wives? Because again, if a single mom, you don't see how to, a man is treated. I think a lot of times, because of the way I saw my mom treat my dad, that's why I am the way I am in certain things. So that is huge. That is huge. Does the modern day woman know how to be a wife? We are going to touch later on what you guys look for in a wife.
I'm laughing at Thaddeus shaking his head because I was thinking the same thing. When a lot of women grow up in a single parent home where their mom is everything, like, and I know the word submission gets tossed around a lot. Like, how do they submit when they don't know what submission looks like? Like, for them, the word submission means like to use the reference, the lady in Coming to America, when like, to them, that's what submission looks like to them, not realizing that's not what it is. And so for them, submission has a negative connotation. They're like, oh no, I'm not losing who I am, and nobody asked you to do that. That's not what submission is. And so with someone who's headstrong and they've had to be everything to everybody, it was either they get it done or it doesn't get done. It's hard for them to relinquish that trust and security in somebody. And at the first sign that things don't go maybe the way that they think it should necessarily go, then they're ready to take control back. And that causes an even bigger issue.
Ooh, I feel like we need to do a whole episode on that. Have men and women on the line, talk about what we want from each other. Because man, that was awesome. Ooh, yes. I go ahead, Thaddeus.
It is, we don't need a whole discussion. Like, y'all know what we want. Well, I mean, you should know what we want at this point.
As we were just saying that, if we didn't see it in the home and things like that, it may be a challenge, and we probably are not aware.
Yeah, but we can't really discuss that though. Like, that's something that you actually, there's like a wife school, believe it or not. And if that's something that you never had at home, perhaps you should sign up for that. Because a man cannot teach a woman how to be a woman. I cannot teach you how to be a woman for me, like that. No, you have to see a woman in action. So us having a conversation, that's like you telling me, well, I'm going to need you to treat me like how a man is supposed to. I mean, come on. That's what we're trying to do by talking at each other back and forth. That's never going to happen. If I've never seen the example at home, there's almost no way that I can do it for you. And if you've never seen that example, I cannot teach you how to be a wife for me. Like, now I could tell you the things that I like and dislike, and you can do them. But as far as you being a woman to a man, only a woman can teach you that.
Ooh, all right now. I know, I love that. So that's a good thing too. Both men and women, if we look at this conversation, you got to do some research and learn how to be a man. What is a husband? How to be a husband? Yep. And women as well. And look for real examples of people that are doing it right and take some cues from them. But when I was thinking about the discussion, it would be a more so like how Tori just said, kind of some of the things that you notice among women that are not wifey, type qualities that maybe perhaps the modern women are displaying that they probably need to work on. So Thaddeus, did you mention what you felt were the challenges? What were you guys concerned? What are you concerned about?
Oh, you want to make the ooh, where should I start?
Pull out your sheet because I know you.
All right, so I have about like 20 things, but for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do my top 10.
Okay, Pastor, go.
So I think number one, the number one concern is that men, you're gonna lose your freedom and identity. I see that happen way too often. Guys, it just seems to get. I mean, we've seen a lot of memes about it, right? They show the guy and he's like buff and all this, and then they show him when he got married, and all of a sudden, he just kind of let go of himself. He let go of his hobbies. He doesn't really talk to his friends anymore. He kind of lose identity. And fellas, if you are listening, like that is the worst thing that you can do in a marriage. I don't care what your wife tells you. Oh, honey, stay home tonight. No, keep your identity. Keep being the man that she fell in love with. You keep being that man. You keep your hobbies. You keep your friends. You keep all of that. Of course it's a balance. You're gonna have to balance life with her. Don't ignore her, but you need to keep being that man. You need to keep being the man that she met. So that's the identity. Men lose their identity a lot. And then they become this soft, I mean, they even dress differently. I mean, have you ever seen in a marriage where a man is dressing and you could tell that his wife dressed him, and she's gonna dress him in a way that no other woman wants him? Right, so he, and then that's why these guys, after like about 5-10 years of marriage, like I actually sometimes I don't like to be around them because they are no longer men. They are basically women with vagina with because they have lost their identity. My number two is that of course the family court system. Ooh. So we have antiquated laws. We have laws that were set up in a time where women didn't have their own, right? So I understand why the laws used to be that way, because as a woman, you didn't work, you didn't have any way to survive on your own. So once you got into a marriage, if this guy decides to divorce you, it's like, how am I going to make it on my own? I don't work, I don't do anything. So that's why we had alimony. That's why it was so favorable to the woman to get the house, and that's understandably. That was understandable. But now in today's days, where women, I mean, the first thing they tell you is, oh, I'm independent. All right, so if you're so independent, why do you need half of my stuff? Should we break up? So I think guys, especially guys who have something, have a considerable net worth, yes, that would be one of the concerns that a man would have. My next one is the marriage wheel and how women change during the course of marriage. Yeah. So there's actually a good podcast that explains exactly what the marriage wheel is, and how women change during different stages of the marriage. And that's a fear to men, because that woman that you marry, that's not the same woman who's going to be at 5 years, at 10 years, 15, 20 years. One of the things in that is that she tends to gain weight. That's one thing. I mean, I've seen some women, and when they got married, it was like, yeah, I would marry her. And then as it progressed, it's just like, she's not the same. She let go of herself, and that's just not the same woman that you marry. And it's like, now you're kind of stuck. Another one is that women are cheating at a higher rate, a super higher rate. I mean, I've had too many instances where married women are like, they're hollering at me, or I mean, I have unsolicited pictures of married women in my phone, like why are you sending me this, ma'am? Don't you have a husband? Ooh. So yeah, so you're gonna be looking stupid in these streets if you marry some of these modern women. We just call them that. And the last one that I have is one of the biggest ones, which is you might be marrying somebody who has like hidden emotional or mental issues. Ooh. So make sure, fellas, that you do your research before you lock down this lady. Anyway, those are my top 10s.
Woo! That look at Tori like, look.
Well, I was gonna say not to be a negative Nate, but in this age of social media and the internet, where you can be whoever it is that you want to be without other people finding out, I think that's a fear for men and women, more so men, because think about it. Who do you think termed the phrase work husband? Definitely wasn't a man. So on the flip side, if they're work husbands, then I guess they're also work wives as well. But we never went to work thinking, oh, I'm gonna find a quote unquote work wife. But she comes home because she been sitting next to Mark all day, cubicle to cubicle, talking about ain't no telling what for 8 hours. I'm at work, she's at work. Then I think whatever the statistic is, you spend more time at work than you do at home.
Yeah.
So now you have these relationships with what started off as total strangers that now are significant relationships. And and if she's venting about stuff that's going on at home, and it'll be okay, and and that first little seed of, oh, if I was your husband, I wouldn't do anything like that. And now here we go with that process. But on the flip side, same thing with the man. If he's talking to Keisha at work and saying something, or he's left eating a cup of noodles, and Keisha knows that man's married. Oh, your wife didn't fix you anything? If I was your wife, I would never make sure that you came to work hungry, da 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 da.
Right.
And now you got that seed planted. And then, like I said, in social media, where you can have all these accounts and emails after emails and hide this and hide that. Like the branch of cheating goes so far that it doesn't make any sense. It's like it's almost its own galaxy where you can have all these different lives, and the person that you're married to doesn't even know it. Another thing that Thaddeus said is how a woman changes. Women always say, oh, well, you know what? He let himself go. Wait a minute. You also let yourself go. Like, the whole time we were dating, I never saw this bonnet that you wore to bed.
Ooh.
Where did this come from? Where did this robe come from that looked like it was handed down from generation to generation? You don't want me coming to bed in a t-shirt with syrup stains on it. I don't want you coming to bed with this moo-moo on as well. Like, we're supposed to still be attractive to each other. And I think throughout the course of marriage and, day-to-day lives and just living, people forget that, especially once that honeymoon phase is over. It's like, okay, the honeymoon phase is over. Now we just have to go back to being adults and living. And then they just, instead of living and loving, they just end up coexisting, which is what ultimately makes it move to being, okay, this is a business arrangement. That's why you see individuals, oh yeah, we're not in love with each other, but we're together, and they already have a set date as to when they're going to divorce. Once I get that last one through school, then it's over with. Like, the last one, as soon as that last child walks across the graduation stage, very next day, mom and dad are walking out of divorce court. Like, it's already been planned. Like, their unhappiness has been present for a while. And what moms and dads, or what married people don't realize, is the kids aren't ignorant. They know exactly what's going on. They know when mom and dad aren't happy. They know when they're going through the motion. They just don't know necessarily how to express their feelings. And most of it is fear that, their parents are going to split up. But they can feel the tension that's going on, that, we're not in a happy home. We're in a tolerated home, which makes a world of a difference.
Oh, I love how you guys address, explain all of these concerns, because of course, I think women need to hear it. But also to think about, how could, with all these different concerns you have, how can a woman put you at ease that she's not going to bring these issues to you? You know, is that something you guys look out for? Like, okay, in terms of cheating, you know, is she really flirty? Like, does she really do what she says, or do I catch her in lies? You know, like, do you guys, you know, have not different tests, but do you guys kind of evaluate the woman and kind of look out for those things? You know, what can she do to kind of put you at ease? You get what I'm saying?
Of course, past performance is a good indicator of our future,
Mm.
So, I mean, if you have a lot of breakups and you leave guys for, I usually ask them, in your previous relationship, who left, why, and if you see that there's a pattern of her like leaving, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna be like the next guy. If you are in a relationship and you're like flirting with me or anything like that, and I would never take you serious. Also, if you're not, if I see that you have a pattern of you're in a relationship, you let yourself go, and then once you're out, then all of a sudden you want to hit the gym and start dressing better and all of this stuff. And I look at patterns. I look at patterns.
Okay, those are very good pointers. How about you?
For me, I ask a person, like, I'm interested in getting to know the person. I'm interested in knowing not necessarily, what happened in your last relationship, as far as going into explicit detail, the good, the bad, the ugly, things of that nature. I'm more interested in what did you learn from that past relationship. And if you can't answer that question, or if you keep learning the same thing over and over again, then clearly you didn't learn anything.
So you're gonna repeat that. You're gonna repeat that, like, most likely.
If the same thing is what you keep learning over and over and over again, then maybe that's the thing that you keep bringing to the relationship that's a problem. Mm-hmm. I'll ask people, well, what did you do in your last relationship that you'll do different in your next one? Or like, what did you do in your last relationship that you won't do in your next one? And what didn't you do in your last one that you'll do in your next one? And the answer to those two questions tells you a lot about the growth of that particular individual. And it kind of gives you a better mindset of what you're going to deal with. I love people that have non-negotiables, because it also lets me know what level of maturity that they're at. Outside of the typical, oh, I'm not going to deal with anybody that's going to cheat, or I'm not going to. Okay, those are on the surface. Those should be common sense non-negotiables. But like, can you go deeper than that? Like, is one of your non-negotiables, I can't deal with somebody that is a bad communicator, or doesn't try to communicate, or doesn't trust me with their vulnerabilities and their feelings. Like, is that one of your non-negotiables? Because being married, you're going to have to trust each other with those parts of yourself that you are uneasy about letting anybody see.
Oh, I love it, man. This is such a good discussion. I'm so happy I had you guys on, man. All right, I love it. So real quick, we're gonna end with this. Real quick, just personally to you, what is it that you look for in a wife? Like, what is it are you looking for when you think of this is wifey? Tell me, Thaddeus, and then Tori, and then we'll sign off.
So some of the first things I look at is, I want you to be the polar opposite of me. And when I say polar opposite, I don't mean in terms of beliefs. Of course, we have to be, we have to believe the same thing, of those things that we need to be the same. I'm talking about personality types. I need you to be, I'm a masculine man. So of course I'm going to be attracted to feminine qualities. So I don't want you to be strong. I don't want you to be aggressive. That kind of things just turns me off. It's like when I hear women talk about, like, well, men are intimidated by me. I'm like, it's like, okay, well, why are these men intimidated? Well, because I'm strong. It's like, I'm not intimidated that you're strong. I mean, I love that you're strong, but I just don't want a strong woman. I just like you don't want a soft man. that would turn you off because you are a feminine woman, you're a feminine being. You would be attracted to the opposite, which would be a strong being. I'm a strong man. I want to be attracted to somebody, or I want someone who is soft, feminine, someone who's articulate, someone who likes or is very detail oriented, someone who wants to be a helper, someone who's loving, who's kind, nurturing. These are qualities that I want to look for in a wife. Someone who easily forgives, but who likes to work out as well. That's the kick. You gotta like to work out.
Okay, if she's strong physically. You just don't want her personality to be strong.
She could have muscles on top of muscles. That's fine.
You want her to be able to deadlift more than you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. As long as, she's like, honey, do you want me to bench press the car tonight? Yes, honey, go ahead.
Hold it up while I change the tire.
Exactly.
How about you, Tori? What you looking for?
I'm looking for somebody who is, like Thaddeus said, opposite of me, but not like polar opposite. We have to have some stuff on the foundation level. We have to have the same belief. Looking for somebody that I can be myself with. Good, bad, in between. Like, I don't want to, if I put on a mask when I leave the house, I don't want to have to keep on that mask when I come home. I want somebody who is not afraid to open up to me, and someone that I can trust, someone that I feel secure with, someone that I can see myself building with and growing with. I don't obtain to be perfect, but I definitely want somebody who believes in progression. Like, you can't be stagnant and get to a place where you're just, okay, I've arrived, now what? Because I don't believe that. I believe that we're all here for a purpose. I believe that we all have an assignment, and that every day that we wake up and are allowed to see this particular day, that our assignment hasn't been completed.
Okay, now.
Because if you get to the point where you wake up and you're like, okay, I've done everything that I need to do, I might get out the way, because you might drop dead in any moment, because you're in your mind, your purpose is over with. I want somebody who believes in some of the things that I aspire to do. Like, if I have a heart for people, I would like for them to have a heart for people as well. You may not totally understand it, but take an interest in some of the things that you normally wouldn't take an interest in that I like, because I'm going to do the same. Like, I may not like, there's no I may. I don't like Lifetime movies on Sundays and things of that nature. But I know as part of bonding with this particular person, there's some stuff I have to do that if I was by myself, I would not do. And that just might be one of them. So somebody that provides love, somebody that challenges me, somebody who, when I've had a hard day at work, they have no issue reminding me of who I am, or reminding me of who I am before I step foot out into the world. Like, if I'm having a bad day, remind me that I'm a child of God. Remind me that I'm a king. Remind me that I'm the head and not the tail. Because I don't want to have to hear it from somebody else outside of the home when I should be hearing it in the home on a daily basis. Because if I hear it within the home, also all the person that's outside of the home is doing, they're just reaffirming what I've already heard before I left the house. So I can say, oh, you know what? Thank you. My wife told me the same thing before I left the house.
Tori,
and that shuts down everything. So,
Tori,
so those are some of the things that I want.
Tori, I was like, man, I wish I had a tambourine. I'm just like, I had like tick, 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 tick. Now you're making me think I need to buy a tambourine. But when somebody say something good, just like, go to church. I love it. Woo! Such a good episode. Oh my gosh. Ooh, man, this was amazing. Ladies, rewatch. This is a rewatch and a share. Oh, I want to thank y'all so much again. So many gems, so much, being candid, being so honest. Thank you guys. We need it. Keep up the work, okay? Keep sharing that knowledge with us. Let's give it up for Thaddeus, always every week coming out. And let's give it up for Tori.
Hey, Tori.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you.
Great. That was awesome, man. Good, awesome. And we lost Charlie, but thank you so much, Charlie, for being on the show. And thank you all for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoy our content, you want to have more information, please hit us up, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about it, okay? And we'll see you next time on My Comfy Couch. Toodles, everyone.